From Cambridge, Massachusetts, we welcome you to the final day of the 2024 CWPA Championships. The day begins with the third place game featuring the third seed Harvard and the 4 seed Brown in a matchup between two rivals. We welcome you inside Blodgett Pool with Austin Ringheim. I'm Drew Casey, and Austin, we are certainly expecting a tight game between these two teams. They both want to end their season with a win over one of their closest rivals. Yeah, absolutely. Both teams are extremely well coached. They've been preparing for not only today, but obviously the entire weekend up to this point. So it should be really fun to see. Again, last game of the year, really trying to put your best water polo in the water at this on this Sunday morning. So it should be really exciting. And again, I think we've talked about it kind of in prior matchups and throughout the weekend in the sense that the Brown Bears really want to play as vertical as they can, work through the center, work inside out, really trying to free up their perimeter shooters. We've seen their shooters have a really successful weekend up until this point. And then for the Crimson, you saw them a little bit earlier here before the start of the lineups or before the start of the game, really trying to be in that horizontal movement, really trying to get out into transition, attacking north-south. So it should be it should really come down to a couple different components here where it's going to come down to the shooting of the Bears, and ultimately from the Crimson standpoint, are they creating or are they generating power play opportunities? Really trying to put these Bears in foul trouble, see if they can get a couple 6-on-5 opportunities early and kind of get that rhythm from there. Both of these teams have played twice this weekend, each winning Friday, each dropping one yesterday in the semifinals. Brown was beaten by Princeton 9-7. Harvard downed by Michigan 12-7. And the opening sprints, away we go. Harvard in the dark caps will move left to right in the first half. Brown is in the white caps and will move right to left. Maya O'D able to control the opening sprint for Harvard. Crimson looking to strike first. Narrowly beating out Maddie Passanier and quickly right on back to Brown 15 seconds in. Yeah, that early offensive was on Erin Kim. Unfortunately, as she went to go post up, she was just working a little too high. Her elbows got a little bit up and she was almost kind of laying on Passanier. Same lineup for both teams as yesterday, and a quick start for the Brown Bears. It's pummeled in by Ella Palmer, the leading scorer entering the weekend. That's just her second goal of this championship. I mean, now's the time to do it. Again, everybody wants to finish on a win going out, especially these seniors here. So really good job from Palmer doing her part and putting her Bears up 1. Palmer scored 1 against Bucknell Friday, did not score yesterday against Princeton. And Palmer gets to 49 goals now in her sophomore season, the native from New Zealand. Starting lineups look like this. We'll give you Harvard since they have possession at the moment. The goalkeeper is Alexis Kike on the other end. Erin Kim, Ella Schneider, Ruby Hodge, OD, Katie Greenwald, and Sasha Constance. It's been the same starters for Harvard each of the 3 games this weekend. Ruby Hodge looking to tie, and it misses wide, and Brown will have a chance to go up 2. For the Bears, Roxanne Hazuka is the goalkeeper. Maddie Passanier and Claire Passanier, Sophie Golub, Ella Palmer, Sierra Martin starting, and Aubrey Anderson makes her second start of the weekend. We saw Emily Swang start Friday, but Swang unavailable for the second straight game here today. Brown has struck for 1. It will stay that way. The turnaround from Martin at set, stopped by Kikefer. And this for third place. Harvard looking to finish the season above 500. Crimson 13 and 13 overall, 6-6 against CWPA teams, if you include yesterday and Friday. And Katie Greenwald, I believe, called for an offensive, maybe inside of 2. It kind of looked like as Greenwald was turning and sealing into her space, she had her left arm still held on to Passanier. So as the ball entered, she was essentially locked up, which unfortunately we can't do on the offensive side. Another quick one into the back of the net for the Brown Bears. A good start, looking to take down the Harvard Crimson for the first time this season. Let's take another look. Yeah, I mean, that's the second goal where they've scored from that position today. So, again, as goalies, we really are taught we really teach to trust your shot blockers, but unfortunately, nobody was able to recover to that side of the pool. That was Claire Passanier scoring there. 4 goals against Bucknell on Friday. Clarity did not score yesterday against Princeton. Harvard looking for goal number 1, another post. There have been plenty of those. That was the crossbar, Ruby Hodge.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be their kryptonite all weekend.
Got a whistle and exclusion won by Kaylee Greenwald, the all-conference player. Quick shot comes from Erin Kim, right back to Kim on the stop from Hazuka. Actually the 3rd try on this possession. Maintaining the exclusion for the next 7 seconds of advantage time, and it is cashed in by Maya O'D. The CWPA Rookie of the Year makes this 2-1 here in the first quarter.
Yeah, O'D did a great job of sliding center, improving her angle. 1-2 pump fake and just burying it back to Hazuka's left arm.
It was very tight to that exclusion time expiring, but a big reason why Harvard was unable to advance against Michigan yesterday. The 6-on-5 was 3 for 12 and just 3 for 9 against St. Francis on Friday. A combined 6 of 21.
Yeah, they have not had a problem generating power play or 6-on-5 opportunities for them. It's just a matter of being able to finish the ball. But talking to Coach Minnis, he wants his teams to shoot for about 60-65% conversion rate on these 6-on-5 opportunities. So hopefully they can get there today and put their team in a position to be successful.
So 2-1 Brown lead. Palmer and Claire Poissonnier scoring first for Brown. OD just moments ago on the 6-on-5. Less than 3 minutes into this game. Here's Palmer again, harassed by 2 Harvard defenders, and it was pushed under very nicely by Ella Prentice to secure the takeaway. We mentioned Harvard looking to have a 500 above season. The same for Brown entering this match. Short side, powered in, and we are tied at 2 as Ruby Hodge levels it up.
Yeah, that was a great one-on-one attack from Hodge. Again, getting that big turn on Claire Poissonnier, being able to slide a little bit laterally to improve her angle, bearing it back to the strong side bar in an extremely tough shot, but perfectly executed from Hodge.
First team all-conference Ruby Hodge. We've heard from a bunch of all-conference honorees to this point. Ella Palmer, first team all-conference as well, who scored the opening goal. Just like that, we're tied at 2. Looking to get it in towards set in the destination up to Dreisel, who had a big game yesterday, but strong defense this time by Ruby Hodge. Maya O'D open ahead at 6 meters. Harvard looking for 3 consecutive goals, attacking the goal to our right. Here at Blodgett Pool, Annabelle Facey is on. The last time each of these teams will play as a unit forever. Skipped in, how about Harvard 3 in a row? Emma Gilbert, and a 3-2 Crimson lead.
Yeah, building off of that, Drew, that's something that Coach Minnis was talking about earlier today, where this is the last time this entire program is going to be together with this lineup, this culture, and it's really just about having fun, putting your best foot forward, and really enjoying what you're doing with your teammates.
Seasons that started training-wise in the fall and winter got going really full bore in January. Harvard went international to Greece. Looking to cap its season with a win. It is 3-2 Harvard. They have not updated that 3rd goal up on the big board here. Once they do that inside, you'll see it with us. They'll now just change that. And stops by Alexis Kiekefer. Harvard looking to keep its run going.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this throughout the entire season. Harvard's doing a really good job of letting their defense stem through their offense. They had a little bit of an opportunity advantage here, but really showing their patience in terms of setting it up, not really forcing anything, trying to find that rhythm and creating a power play.
Prentice going into set for Facey, who draws it. Out goes Maddie Poissonnier, and excluded out for 20 seconds. Zapata is out there. So too is Lucy Berkman. Emma Gilbert here. Heidi Heffelfinger as well. Big save by Hazuka, keeping it out from Zapata's shot. Second chance is blocked. And it will be possession for Brown, holding on the 5-on-6 defense. That came from Berkman there. Under 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Brown scored the first two. Harvard has struck for 3 in a row. This is our third place game in the CWPA here in 2024. The championship game to follow at noon, Michigan and Princeton. Ella Palmer denied by Kike for its set.
Yeah, I mean, Palmer's doing a good job of making these big moves, trying to gain that advantage, but anytime the ball gets entered, there's at least two to four Crimson defenders coming back, crashing back, and not really giving her any time to capitalize on those moves.
Harvard called for the offensive, and I thought and can now confirm that last exclusion was number 2 against Maddie Poissonnier. We will certainly watch that throughout. Maddie is not in the pool at the moment. Sister Claire is, and now an advantage coming for the Bears. Looking to tie. Heffelfinger excluded out. First Brown power play of this third place game. Might be a 5-meter, at least an exclusion. They're going to say suit tug. Just an exclusion, so we go 6-on-4. Sometimes this becomes the 5-on-4 for more spacing. Brown has kept all 6 in. Now it's 6-on-5. Lots of traffic, and it's buried. A big smile for Brown, and Cleo Washer ties the score at 3.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the resilience of the Bears yesterday, never really letting Princeton have an opportunity to take it and run with it. Every time that the Tigers did score, the Bears had an answer for it. So, again, you're seeing it right now where Crimson was able to go on their couple-goal run, and ultimately the resiliency and experience of the Bears is what tied it back up.
These two teams playing for the third time, as is the case for everybody, given the double round-robin regular season schedule. The first 2 meetings, Brown here at Blodgett Pool in late February, 10-7, Harvard won. And then in the home game, which was just last Friday for Brown, down in Providence, it was 10-8. So 2 tight games, and we are tight here late in the first quarter. I'm looking for another 2-goal spurt. Some space to operate for to Dreisel. Hat trick yesterday against the Tigers. The right side of the pool opens briefly for Claire. Sister Maddie is in some foul trouble with 2 in this opening quarter. Pass to center for Palmer, a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an extremely tough pass. There is no real angle to put the ball in wet or put the ball into Palmer's area that she's holding. So that kind of up, lofty lob pass is an extremely difficult one.
Kim executes a pass in tight to Ella Schneider, but a fantastic save by Roxanne Hazuka, and Brown will take over.
I mean, offensively, that's what they're looking for as the Crimson. We even saw them before the lineup. That's something that they continue to practice. Any opportunity they get, making those cross passes perfectly to the hand. And unfortunately, Coach Minnis, I believe, thought there should be a extra call to retain possession, but the referees felt otherwise.
Under a minute now remaining in quarter 1, 46 seconds on the game clock. Long distance, that'll sneak in from downtown. The conversion from Aubrey Anderson, making her second consecutive start, and Brown goes up 4-3.
Yeah, it's great to see the first year really stepping up into that role for Song. Unfortunately, she's unavailable, but if you're Coach Mercado and staff, it should give you a lot of confidence that given any sort of opportunity, you have athletes in the pool or in the program that are willing to step up and rise to the challenge.
Anderson did score 1 goal yesterday against Princeton. That's now 36 on the season for Aubrey, who entered, tied for the 3rd most goals on the team when play began on Friday. Brown beat Bucknell Friday 13-7 before losing to Princeton yesterday. Harvard beat St. Francis Friday before falling to Michigan yesterday afternoon. Bit of a tug there. I think Harvard wanted an exclusion.
Yeah, I think the only reason why there wasn't is that was a little bit of an errant pass. It didn't necessarily impede anything. The ball still did skip by 3 or 4 meters or so. So I think that's why there was a no call.
Got whistles on the near side of the pool. A Brown exclusion with 17 seconds to play in quarter one. Harvard likely to try and get a shot off before the clock, even though they have 3 extra seconds. Oh, and they do. Rising and firing and scoring is Emma Gilbert to tie it 4 late in the first quarter.
I mean, this entire first-year group for Coach Minnis has had a phenomenal year. Again, I know that they're relying on them to be a big part of their success moving forward over the next handful of years, but Gilbert doing a good job of maintaining her space, Kim putting the ball right where it needed to, and Gilbert doing her job.
Certainly a very, very bright future. It's a balanced class by class as the final seconds tick off here. The long distance lob is high, but a lot of play for the 9 underclassmen on this Harvard roster. As we head to the second quarter, plenty of offense. We're tied at 4 between Harvard and Brown in the third place game of the 2024 CWPA Championships.
Welcome to the community. We want to introduce ourselves to you.
We're a not-for-profit financial cooperative founded and operated by Harvard employees.
If you work or study at Harvard or any of the teaching hospitals, you and your family are eligible to join.
We've helped thousands in the community buy their first homes, pay off their student loans, and build strong credit.
Ask your friends and colleagues why they bank with HUEC.
And get to know us at huecu.org/hello.
I love when families are able to come here and I can tell them they don't have to worry about paying for their care. They've got enough to worry about taking care of their sick child. Every single person that contributes is a part of that St. Jude family that makes that happen. Because of donors, we're giving families hope.
Ticket Smarter is proud to support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. $1 of every transaction will go directly to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit ticketsmarter.com to learn how you can help today.
Getting set for quarter number 2. Appreciate you hanging with us for the CWPA Championships, not only this morning, but over the course of what's been the weekend. This is our 6th game of 7, 2 Friday, 3 yesterday, and 2 today. This is the third place game. The Harvard Crimson, Ted Minnis and company discussing plenty of offense, Austin. Maybe a bit more offense than these two defensive-minded teams would like, but we are tied.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's both a pro and a con with the offense rolling. Again, big defensive-minded programs. You know, you definitely want to continue to hold your opponent to as little as possible. But fortunately, again, both offenses are clicking, and it should be a boat race here. It should be extremely fun to watch. And again, this is pretty much what you're looking for with the last game of the season. Everything kind of rolling on all cylinders. And for the Bears, something to note is they've had 3 goals from that right flat, so the top right side of the pool there. Again, if you're Coach Mikado, I imagine you're going to continue to emphasize, hey, this is a spot that might be open. Continue to be confident. Draw Kika for one way versus the other, and be confident as you bury that ball into the back of the net. And then for the Crimson, I mean, they've had no problem generating exclusions, power play opportunities. They're pretty much playing their style of game, so everything's working for them as well. And again, when you earn that power play, you want to continue to push the tempo, push the rhythm, but you don't need to force anything.
Both teams getting set for the second quarter sprints. Maya O'D will go for Harvard. Stephanie Villalobos blows the whistle. Away we go. Villalobos and Easton Honecker, the officials of this third place game. And a big smile after the second quarter sprint won by the Brown Bears.
Bears again trying to continue to maintain space, give Martin and or Palmer any sort of room to work. Right now it's Martin.
Sprint was won by Sabrina Shipley, and the big smile was from Cleo Washer, closest to it, and helped secure it. We have not called Shipley's name all weekend, but out there here.
Yeah, so that turnover there was a shot on from Claire Poissonnier. Unfortunately, the foul was inside of 6 meters, so the ball is dead.
30 seconds into quarter number 2, tied at 4. Ball is loose here, in and out. Ted Minnis wanted a call. He looks to the ceiling here and can't believe there was no whistle.
Away from the attempted turn of Katie Greenwald.
I mean, Kim made a big move, or excuse me, Hodge made a big move there. Unfortunately, as she turned into there, Azuka was already there, giving her no space to really have any sort of advantage, which is why it was just a turnover.
Brown looking for the lead. The Bears did lead this 2-0. Harvard scored 3 straight. They've gone back and forth since. The lob for the lead. It's off the crossbar. Nearly went for Washer. Michigan Wolverines entering the pool deck here. They'll get set for their championship game against Princeton at 12 o'clock noon. And with it, the winner will head to the NCAA. Advantage here. Harvard working quickly. The extra pass, and that was precisely what was needed. Katie Greenwald buries it, and Harvard leads 5-4.
And that was great recognition from Hodge. Again, she get that ball out to Kim to a place where she can get it right back, recognizing that that middle defender was coming to crash on her, knowing exactly where her teammates are, not panicking, absorbing the contact, and just putting it right in a position where her teammate can catch and shoot and redirect the ball back into the back of the net.
That is a pair of 6-on-5 goals for Harvard in this game already. We've played less than 10 minutes, so that's a sight that certainly is pleasing to the Harvard bench, who, again, entering today 6 out of 21 this weekend, under 30% in the success rate. Brown looking to defeat Harvard for the first time this season. Knocked away defensively. Constance tapped it, but it got its way to Sierra Martin, and right on the spot was able to get it past Alexis Kiekefer.
Yeah, that was a great hustle play from the senior. A little bit of a lower pass, which is why Constance was able to get that hand on it, but kind of just tipped it right in between Kiekefer and Constance. So, again, great effort from Martin to recognize that she still had an opportunity to get that ball and keep her Bears right in the game.
Sierra Martin's 26th goal of the season, also scored Friday against Bucknell, the senior from San Diego. Converting for Brown to tie it up at 5. We've been tied at 2, at 3, at 4, and now 5. So 4 early ties in the game. Hodge reverses for OD. Whistle with 8 seconds on the shot clock, and it is against Harvard. Brown ball.
Called on the wing on the drive against number 6 Evan Kim of Harvard.
Working centrally is Aubrey Anderson, but too much jostling for position away from the ball and right back to Harvard.
Yeah, so it looked like there was a similar call on both sides of the ball with the last 2 offensive possessions. When they were driving north-south, looked like there might be an extra kick or a little extra shove off to get that open water.
Kim Crosspool draws the exclusion on the pass. Sasha Constance drawing it, and the horn sounds a timeout coming. And Harvard will talk before the 6-on-5 will come after it. It was not on Maddie Poissonnier, but Maddie was out there with 2 fouls already, 2 exclusions against. Have to be careful, and teams settle in here. More of the same from the first quarter, Austin. Nice offensive flow, and I thought before the game it might be the first to 10 would win, but we might be looking at this pace 14 or 15.
Yeah, it honestly feels like a game where whoever gets the last possession of the game is probably going to be the one to pull away. So it should be really exciting to watch over the next 2.5 quarters. But no, again, both teams are finding their rhythm. Again, it looks like both teams have been executing exactly what the game plan has been for both programs. So if you're both staffs, you have to be really pleased with what the product in the pool is looking like. But no, I imagine if you're Coach Minnis and staff, you're recognizing that number 2, Maddie Poissonnier, has 2 exclusions, and everybody knows how much of an impact she has for the Bears program. So I wouldn't be surprised if they not necessarily target her, but if they try to put her in a disadvantage here and maybe trying to get a couple exclusions later on in the second period.
Maddie comes out defensively here. It will be 6-on-5 for Harvard, tied at 5. Already 2 goals up on the 6-on-5. Again, that was a Harvard timeout. Still 3 remaining for Harvard in 10 minutes. Felix Mercado and Brown have all 4. Early on, second quarter, tied at 5 in this third place game. See what Harvard has drawn up. This is OD. That's a good option. Now Ruby Hodge, quick passing for Kim, back to OD. Those 3 working. Now it's Heffelfinger rising the lefty. That was a good setup, good luck, and it just missed.
Yeah, I mean, again, they have a multi-headed monster, but trying to get Kim and OD to really get the defense to commit there while Heffelfinger is able to just step up into the middle of the pool, get a better advantage, look at the pool. So great 6-on-5 opportunity for the Crimson, just weren't able to convert.
We had Claire Poissonnier dropping back along the goal line, almost like a second goalie there on that shot. We got a piece of it here. Alexis Kiekefer, that's the Harvard goalie. A strong stop on Golub. Team's done a nice job getting back defensively in transition. Erin Kim is fighting to get free, and they go the opposite direction. High side left for OD. Into center. Heffelfinger tries again, and this is just wide. The challenge from Claire Poissonnier. 4-4 after 1, 5-5 midway through the second. A little more defensive. A couple of whistles as well so far in the second quarter. Kiekefer can make the stop. Good sight lines and good vision to Dreisel. Not much to go at there. A little bit of a breakout. Advantage for Harvard. Hodge has Heffelfinger. Hodge will take the shot. It ricocheted off a field block right to Hazuka, and it stopped.
Yeah, that's the only disadvantage here when you are trying to continue to move fast and play fast through the counterattack, is if there is a miss, oftentimes in that advantage, that gives the other team an opportunity to come back and put it away like Claire just did.
Powered in by Claire Poissonnier, got the pass from Maddie, and Claire dribbled in a bit closer. So the sister-sister connection, and it is 6-5 Brown.
Brown counterattack goal, her second goal of the game, scored by number 5, Claire Poissonnier. Time of the goal, 3:15. Score now, Harvard 6.
Second of the game for Poissonnier. Now at 41 on the season. It's been a good weekend. Claire had 4 Friday. Didn't score yesterday, but 2 in this first half at this point. 3:10 and ticking down on our second quarter clock in the third place game here in 2024. Danny Zapata is out. The challenge comes. We've got whistles away from the play, and it's breaking for Brown.
Separation on the drive, called against number 4, Ella Prentice of Harvard.
Indicated as a grab and fighting for positioning. A referee on the far side, Stephanie Villalobos. Under 3 minutes to go until halftime now. Long distance, back-to-back for Brown. And it's Hannah to Dreisel, found a window and buried it. 7-5 Bears.
Yeah, I mean, that's yet another goal from that spot today. To Dreisel looking extremely confident, moving laterally, improving her angle. 1-2 pump fake and just putting it right out of the reach of goalie Kiekefer.
5th on the team entering the weekend at 28 goals. Scored 3 yesterday, has 2 today. Also scored against, has 1 today. Also scored against Bucknell on Friday. Danny Zapata fighting in the corner. And it's won by the Brown Bears and Aubrey Anderson. Long steal for Anderson. Suddenly Brown could take a 3-goal lead. Bears have led by as many as 2. 2-0 and now 7-5. intercepted. Rising out was Emma Gilbert.
It almost felt like Gilbert was almost baiting that pass. She was like about a half an arm's length away from Poissonier and almost anticipating that ball was coming. So it was a great defensive effort from her and trying to give her Crimson another opportunity to close the gap.
Now Maya O.D. in the offense for Zapata, the junior from Columbia. Now Heffelfinger, the lefty, slots into center, looking to at least win an exclusion. That was done successfully with Ella Prentice. 6-on-5 attack again for Harvard. They've drawn plenty of exclusions. They've been better converting so far today compared to the last 2 days. Can they keep it going? O.D., it's off the crossbar and out. Harvard has hit, I would say, almost 20 combined bars and posts over 3 games now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's been their tough part. Again, they have had no problem generating enough power play or 6-on-5 opportunities for them to be successful, and ultimately at this level, that's pretty much the make or break of these games here.
Under a minute to go now, remaining until halftime. 7-5 the score, Brown with the lead. Good one here thus far in the third place game. Shot clock's at 2 and dumped in the corner.
Seems like some of the fans were trying to see if Poissonier would kind of fall for something similar to what she did a little bit earlier. That foul was inside the 6-meter line. She didn't have necessarily anybody open to the other side, so that was great recognition from Claire that the foul was inside, and she's dumped the ball and didn't give up a counterattack or a power play, or excuse me, a transition opportunity.
Heffelfinger, does it have enough on the skip shot? Yes, it does. O.D. finds Heidi, and it is 7-6, 33 seconds until half.
I mean, that's about as good of a shot as you can get. Heffelfinger right in the middle of the cage. One pump fake, getting Hazuka to bite. You can see her get up on her legs. That skip bar, kind of that top corner type scenario. That's a little bit of more of a difficult shot there, trying to put it in that top bar, side bar type conversation. And yeah, excellent shot from Heffelfinger.
Seven, 6 final possession likely of this second quarter for Brown. There is a 3-second differential.
I assume they obviously want a high percentage opportunity, but you also don't want to give the Crimson any sort of opportunity to tie this up going into the second half. If you can have a lead going into the break, utilize the clock. The time is your friend right now if you are the Bears.
Shot clock is down to 4 seconds. Harvard is going the other way. They've got some numbers up there, but knocked away from behind. Maddie Poissonier, and that's going to do it. That shot is just high. Not sure it would have counted. It was close. And that's going to do it for this first half. With the score, Brown 7 and Harvard 6. Back and forth, tight game, about what we expected. Maybe a little bit of a higher score at the break, but a strong showing here thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it looks like both teams are executing their offensive and defensive game plans here. The Bears doing a good job of funneling the ball, getting some big stops on the defensive end of things, working through their center, forcing these Crimson to come back into that zone type defense. And we've seen their perimeter shooters all weekend long feeling extremely comfortable, extremely confident, being able to get up and put that ball away. For the Crimson, again, they're doing a great job of drawing the exclusions. I know that's something that they want to take advantage of. They've created 7 power play opportunities in the first half, so there's no shortage of 6-on-5 opportunities for them. It's just, again, finding that half a second to relax, continue to understand that there is an open player in the water at all times, and being able to locate the 2-on-1 to the 1-on-nobody and put the ball away.
7-6 at the break. The halftime discussions begin. Bears on top. We'll have the second half right after this as you're tuned to the CWPA Championships here from Cambridge on ESPN+.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Harvard, an overtime winner. Crimson into the round of 32. National NCAA Women's Rugby Championship in the Big Green of Dartmouth. That will do it. The Brown Bears and the Lions walk off. And Cornell will play a championship Monday.
I think the shared commitment we all have is that we're here to decrease the stigma around mental health. We want to make it a more open conversation, whether it's talking about student-athlete mental health, coaches' mental health. We got one goal, we just got to work together to complete that.
I think the evolution of the conversation about mental health has become prominent year after year for the last decade, if not more. But I think we're finally at the tipping point where the conversation isn't just about how are we reactive to prevent worst case scenarios, but how are we managing everyday stressors and activities.
I have really loved today. I mean, just the conversations. I love talking about mental health, and so being able to dive deeper. I think the keynote was incredible, seeing what mental health in athletics looks like really at the highest level.
Mental health is the same thing as physical health, right? We all have it. You guys are all in the sports space. You wake up in the morning and you do a physical check. It might actually inform how you work out that day, how you approach your training. What would happen if we took the same approach to mental health?
This is my first mental health summit that I've been able to attend, and just recognizing the value of sharing those best practices. We all have very unique institutions, and so, I think it's very valuable to sit here and think, hey, that's really cool, jot that down. How can I adapt that for our institution? And it's also a really incredible moment to be able to just have a lot of school pride, a lot of league pride.
I've always thought mental health is very important. The stress and anxiety that student athletes have to go through to play their sport, to compete in their sport, like there's so much going on outside of that, and I think this mental health summit is like a really good step forward to decrease that stigma and to continue to give access and to continue to give thoughts.
I think mental health is something where, because we don't talk about it as often, I think coaches might not fully understand the grasp of what that feels like to an athlete.
If your team is not open about talking about mental health, you have to open the doors and you got to be like, guys, like, we're all in this together.
Dartmouth College has taken holistic student-athlete development incredibly seriously. I was one of a few athletic administrators with a sports psychology background, and then since my role has evolved in the last 5 years, I've been able to continue to support a team that is collectively building to enhance mental wellness, well-being, and performance of all of our student-athletes. How do we make sure we're cultivating an environment? And this is where everyone in the room has an impact on the environment that occurs within your campus. And all of us need to be actively cultivating it.
I want the idea of mental health being stigmatized to be something so of the past that we can't even imagine not having this open conversation.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Auburn, an overtime winner. Princeton into the round of 32. And Cornell will play on Championship Monday.
Getting set for the second half of play in this third place game between Brown and Harvard. We welcome back to Blodgett Pool with Austin Ringheim through Casey there. The Brown Bears, who have a little bit of foul trouble here in the 7-6 lead. In the first half, just 2 exclusions whistled against Harvard, 7 against Brown. The style of play might dictate that a little bit, but if you're Brown, probably trying to make some adjustments in that department.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's always impressive when you see athletes that are able to play with 2 exclusions in foul trouble for the majority of the game. We saw Coach Mercado talking to referee Easton Honecker at the break, explaining kind of, hey, I feel like we might be getting grabbed just about the same amount, but we're not necessarily getting rewarded for it. So really curious to see kind of what the adjustments are. You see Pausinier going into the pool right now, same with Dreisel. So again, I assume they'll probably play a little bit of a softer type press, give themselves about a half a second to a second leeway. So if the Crimson do decide to attack or drive against them, they're able to have enough time to recover, not necessarily get engaged with the contact and be able to play through it. And ultimately the goal is to finish out the entire second half here for both of these women.
Dreisel and Maddie Pausinier, the only 2 with 2 exclusions so far. 2 Harvard exclusions, 2 different players, Facey and Heffelfinger. Harvard wins the third quarter sprint. Dark Caps attacking right to left. Going to tie the score at 7. Be the 5th time this game would be tied if it can be accessed. And inside, Greenwald's called for the offensive.
Yeah, that was a good call. That was a good recognition from referee Stephanie Villalobos. Again, seeing Greenwald's right arm getting a little bit higher out of Palmer's kind of back of her head type thing as she was grabbing or maintaining position, and yeah, great recognition from them.
Sierra Martin towards the short corner. Shot clock's down to 5 seconds on this, the first offensive possession for Brown of the second half. 3 to shoot. This will have to come if one is coming. It's off the very top of the crossbar. And it's tracked down by Brown. It's 3 on 3. Full shot clock. Heffelfinger's going to come on back to help out defensively, but it's going to take some time. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, these situations will tend to work in the offense's favor.
Now it's 3 on 4, and stop made by Alexis Kiekefer. So Harvard able to keep Brown at bay on that 3 on 3 setup.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was great defense by Gilbert there, making sure that Palmer didn't have really any sort of room to get that shot off and taking advantage of the 3 opportunity.
Katie Greenwald got inside positioning there, and the turn got by, and a 5-meter is called, and it's against Hanata Dreisel. And Hanata Dreisel, that's it. Third exclusion, done with 6:36 to play.
Yeah, I mean, that was great recognition from Greenwald, recognizing who the player was that was guarding her, being able to make that big quarter turn, create an advantage for herself, and not only necessarily creating the advantage, but recognizing that she doesn't always have to finish that opportunity. If she draws that exclusion, lets go of the ball, creates the penalty. Again, now a big part of the Bears' offensive schemes is now out of the game.
And Harvard quickly ties the score. Emma Gilbert puts in the penalty, and it's 7-7.
Gilbert's doing it all for the Crimson again. Getting a big stop there on the defensive end, being able to come back, put it away on the penalty shot. Credit to the first year for stepping up in these big moments.
So Brown will do this the rest of the way without Dreisel. Again, had a hat trick yesterday against Princeton. And Harvard has scored the last 2 goals, down 7-5 now, tied at 7. The lob, the touch by the goalie, Kiekefer. Heady save there. And to your point, Austin, from earlier, this very well could be last possession, chance to win.
Absolutely. No, it seems like they're constantly just trading goals, going on runs, giving up other runs, and yeah, it should be a real barn burner at the end. You can see both coaches are what feels like saving their timeouts because they know what the last 3 or 4 minutes is going to be of the 4th period.
An answer on the other side by Brown in terms of getting the inside water, the turn, and a 5-meter coming. Nicely won by Claire Poissonnier, and will hand it off to sister Maddie to try and finish the job. Rising, firing, and scoring. Maddie Poissonnier makes it 8-7 in favor of Brown early 3rd quarter.
That was a great finish from Maddie Poissonnier, but credit to her sister Claire. That was an awesome move there as she split both defenders, able to make a big move, kind of up and over, create that advantage for her, let go of the ball again. The more that you can potentially put the Crimson in foul trouble, similar to what the Crimson are trying to do with the Bears, the more advantageous it is for the program.
Plenty of white water in the pool. Brown's got it back. Good aggressive challenge there on that foul by Ruby Hodge to slow things down without being excluded out. Palmer towards the corner. Claire Poissonnier, long range, buries it. Back to back for Brown. A rifled shot in. And the Bears bench in jubilation.
She is cooking. No, that was an awesome shot there. Again, being able to do it all, whether that be creating penalties or putting shots away. Great job by the 3rd year coming out of Brown.
3 now for Claire in the game, 7 on the weekend. Bears back up by 2. Harvard has come back from 7-5 down to tie at 7. Now back in a 2-goal hole. We have been tied 5 times. Many of them were in the first quarter. 5-5 and 7-7 have been ties as well. Sasha Constance. Watched closely by Ella Palmer. Now for Schneider. 2 seconds to shoot. The shot comes, and it is stopped. Schneider looked where she was in the pool. Outside to 6. Easy for Hazuka to save.
Yeah, it felt like the Bears kind of got away with that one. Again, Claire Pausinier did create that ordinary foul, but she never really recovered back in front of Snyder. So an extremely dangerous look for the Crimson, but again, great block by Hazuka and doing what she needs to do for the Bears.
Washer sends it inside, looking for Golub. We've got a whistle. It's ordinary. Remaining even strength. Harvard's only taken 3 exclusions in the game. Approaching 10 for Brown. That shot's high, clean high. It's 8 exclusions taken by Brown.
As the weekends progress, as the games progress, you can see the confidence in the perimeter players from the Bears. Pretty much shooting from anywhere. Really just trying to get as many shots on goal against Kiekefer. Again, it's been paying off for him with this 2-goal lead.
Erin Kim has lost her cap for Harvard in this offensive set. 10 seconds to shoot. Now it is Constance. Long range fire! And Sasha Constance scores from distance. 9-8 in the third.
Again, a very similar shot that we saw the last offensive possession. Center cage. Constance doing what she needs to do. Senior leadership there. Just getting up, burying the ball, putting the Crimson within 1.
Ball comes out of the water just to allow Erin Kim to retrieve her cap. And just now getting that all situated. So Constance makes it 9-8. And we will resume play again. If you're just joining us, Brown is in the white caps, Harvard in the dark caps. And Brown going from left to right here in the second half. Leah Washer waiting with it here, an offensive away from the ball. Whistled against Maddie Pasanya, who was sitting on 2 exclusions. Just ordinary there, though. Constance again, fighting for some room, and wins an exclusion. More foul trouble coming. First, the 6-on-5 for Harvard.
Yeah, you saw the right arm of Washer just get a little bit high up. Again, just outside of the water, so as that ball came in, she almost tugged a little bit on the offensive player before she was able to get the hands up, and that's what resulted in the exclusion and power play opportunity.
Great sequence, the final pass to Zapata, who scores, and again, we are tied. 9-9, 3:20 to go in the third quarter.
And that was a great job by Zapata recognizing where her open water is. You can see her moving center towards the middle of the pool. That's forcing a 2-on-1 opportunity from Ella Snyder up top and Zapata as the perimeter player, as Snyder is a threat on the perimeter. She's getting enough defender to commit to her and ultimately leaving Zapata open at about 2 meters center cage.
As Austin mentioned, that last exclusion on the Brown side was against Cleo Washer. 2 on Washer, 2 on Maddie Passanier. And Hannah Tedreisel has already fouled out.
Yeah, these are some really key parts for the Bears program. So, again, they're going to have to continue to do their best to mitigate those and mitigate how many positions they're in to potentially get excluded. So I assume that you'll see some other people stepping up to guard the middle. And
Long-distance shot stopped by Kiekefer. In the first 2 meetings, Harvard won both, 10-7, 10-8. So 10 goals was enough to win. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case today.
No, we're definitely going to exceed that, which is a positive and a negative, right? Again, both defensive-minded coaches here really want to hold their opponents to at least 9 goals or less. They know the offense can generate at least 10 goals, but no, ultimately it feels like it's going to kind of be a boat race. The next 10 minutes or so, 10 and a half minutes will get extremely fun.
Ella Palmer the steal there, and you wonder if defense might come in. The team that plays better defense, decent chance of winning.
Yeah, I mean, I could see these offenses going off for the first 3 periods, and then again, like you said, a defensive battle here coming into the fourth.
Sierra Martin fighting here, goes cross to the far post. 3 Harvard players. Zapata with the closeout from up ahead, and the steal. Hata going wide side. 1:54 remaining in the third quarter. Coming up next, championship game for the CWPA title, featuring the Princeton Tigers and the Michigan Wolverines. Both teams starting their stretching on the pool deck. The lob and the rise by Hazuka to save. Three saves in the game for Hazuka. Had 7 against Princeton yesterday, 4 against Bucknell on Friday. Brown looking to take the lead back. Harvard has fought back from 7-5 down to tie at 7, then from 9-7 to tie at 9, so it's 2-0 spurts back and forth. Final seconds to shoot. It's kept out near side. Maddie Passanier not fooling Alexis Kikefer there. Inside of 1 minute to play in quarter 3. Offensive.
So it looked like as Prentice was trying to cut off Palmer and get that inside water or offensive opportunity there, she ducked underneath, and unfortunately we can't necessarily, we call that almost like a submarine. We can't necessarily duck under to gain that advantage there on the drive.
9-9 is our score. Timeout, Brown. First of 4 available timeouts for the Bears. You see it there, 3 remaining for each team now. Can't take those into the offseason. 48 seconds to go. And it's going to be even strength here as both teams hydrate up. You know, it was interesting from the Brown perspective when we spoke with Felix Mercado earlier in the week. The focus was only on Friday because last year Brown was defeated in the opening round in an upset with St. Francis winning over the Bears. Win Friday, a really, really tight game that frankly could have went either way with the top seed Princeton Tigers, who have not lost against CWPA teams this year. But then you come to today and there's the natural progression of, well, maybe it could be a lull. But you're playing Harvard. Harvard's playing Brown. There's no lull.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, again, also because both of these schools are closest in proximity to each other, there's really nothing else that needs to be said to kind of get that extra juice going in terms of, hey, we recognize this is a conference rivalry, but also an independent rivalry between Harvard and Brown. So, again, both teams have played each other twice, but both coaches know each other extremely well. They know exactly what they're trying to do to create, and yeah, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, it's, okay, this is our last game of the season. Let's have fun. Let's continue to put the best product in the pool in terms of what we've been working on since early to mid-January, and they know what's on the line here. And again, everybody, both programs want to make sure that they can finish out on a win.
Ted Bennis telling us earlier today that in the last 2 years, the team has not ended the season on a win. This whole entire senior class hasn't because COVID at first. Year 2 and 3, lost in the championship game.
Yep. I mean, that's kind of the double-edged sword, right? You get to win a big semifinal, you get to play in and compete for a conference championship, but unfortunately not being able to overcome the Princeton Tigers or the Wolverines. But yeah, no, ultimately it's a great run from the storied program, and hopefully they can finish out on a high note.
So 9-9 out of the timeout called by Brown. See what the Bears are thinking. Trying to find a way to get back on top, first team to 10. Here is captain Mela Palmer. Drop back looking for an outlet, back to Palmer. Inside to center, we've got Whistles ducking under. And an offensive, Harvard will get it back.
Yeah, so very similar call from what we saw with Prentice on the other end before the timeout.
Shot clock is turned off here. See if Harvard tries to go 7-on-6, yes.
Yeah, you saw Kikefer sprinting to the corner to get a quick sub, and it looks like Erin Kim is the one in the goalie cap here. Trying to capitalize on that woman up opportunity here with that 7-on-6.
Yeah, it is Kim wearing 1C at the moment. Kim will fire, and it will be stopped. Got a couple of hands and maybe some shoulders and heads on the way through. Hazuka still, though, had to make the stop, and that will do it for the third quarter. So Harvard outscores Brown 3-2 in the third. And we go to the fourth, where we started, tied 9-9 in this third place game, fourth quarter on the other side. Right after this on ESPN+.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed at Ticketsmarter.com.
Back here with you as we get set for the fourth quarter. Harvard and Brown tied at 9 in this third place game. We've gotten a treat so far, Austin, and here we go, 8 minutes up on the board. Could be the final 8 minutes for both these teams on the season.
Yeah, and at that point, anything can happen. Let the chips fall where they fall. Again, something to note, as you saw the graphic up there, both teams are 500, so kind of a little bit of an interesting story to it as well. You want to make sure that you continue to not only win today, but always a good year when you can end the season above 500, and yeah, it should be really fun to watch. Again, both teams have 3 out of their 4 timeouts, so it should be. I imagine all 3 of them for both teams will probably be utilized this quarter. Again, seeing how tight this game has been, and both teams have offensively been doing what they've been trying to do. So it should be a really fun battle for the next 8 minutes or so.
You can break this game down into maybe 2-minute stretches if you're a coach on both sides. Save them till later and really go possession by possession. We'll just wait and see. Those records you saw, Harvard 13-13 now. Brown is 16-16. 6 games difference, and a lot of that because of the international trip and the play days used there in Greece by Harvard. Great experience to begin the year. But both teams hoping to go into their respective record books above 500. Big sprint here. It'll be Brown from left to right. Maddie Passanier. And Heidi Heffelfinger is going to win this one comfortably for Harvard in the dark caps. And we'll have first licks here in the fourth. First quarter, both teams scored 4. Second and third, a combined 5 goals total, and an inside water position, and a 5-meter awarded. Won by Ella Prentice. And Sophie Golub guilty. It will be Gilbert, who has converted on 1 penalty already. And another. That's 3 for Gilbert. Harvard has the lead, 10-9.
We've seen that a couple times here coming out of the center position as there's that big turn coming in to create that advantage. Golub looked a little confused because she thought she had her hands up, but at the end of the day, she was still in a bad positioning and kind of on the back of Prentice. So great job of creating that penalty opportunity for the Crimson. And the Bears, they haven't gone away all weekend long, so I'm imagining they're going to do what they can to tie this thing back up.
Offensive turnover at center.
Against number 14, Sarah Martin, hooking the shoulder of the defender.
Martin was called for it there. Harvard can suddenly take a 2-goal lead into center. Good positioning again. This one, though, is an offensive. Two-handed from Prentice. Too aggressive.
Yeah, it looked like she used her head kind of rearing back, ultimately trying to gain a little bit more leverage to step out onto that right leg. But unfortunately, it's always a little bit difficult when everything that's happening is above water and the referees can see it.
So 10-9. This game has been tied on 6 occasions. It's been Harvard doing much of the tying. Here, though, it is Brown executing to perfection to level the score at 10 apiece. It's Aubrey Anderson again.
Again, it's felt like these first years have stepped up all over the place. You see Gilbert and Mayo D on the Crimson side of things, and then you see to Drysdale, Anderson, and some of these other athletes for the Bears that are really stepping up into this leadership role, again, continuing to develop into the program and ultimately progressing the way that each coach has felt that they would, obviously going back to a year or two ago when they were ultimately recruited to each program.
Tied at 10, 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Into set, Prentice going to work and fighting. It's the defense, though, that wins it. The aggressive crash from Maddie Poissonnier.
The first minute and a half, you've seen the Crimson make a slight adjustment here. The first 3 periods, and even throughout the weekend, they've really tried to isolate their center position to one side and then get at north-south driving to the other side, but really they're spreading out. They're trying to work through Prentice in the middle, give her as much time as they possibly can to allow her to do what she does best and create for her team.
Tracked down by Washer. Have to be careful along that boundary line. Got it in. The lob. Doesn't have the angle, though, from Ella Palmer. Good effort. Shot clock horn sounded after it was released.
Yeah, unfortunately, as Palmer was making that quarter turn, she wasn't able to really get the inside advantage, so that's why when she let go of the ball, there was no foul or no exclusion. But again, as she went to step out, it was a really steep angle.
Gilbert, long distance, stopped by Hazuka. Sixth save for Hazuka. And had 7 yesterday against Princeton. 5 and change to go in regulation time. Final game of the season for both of these teams, looking to finish with a win and in third place in this CWPA for 24. Exclusion against Harvard. Haven't been many of these, just the 4th opportunity to the power play for Brown in the game. Aubrey Anderson handles here. Versus back for Claire Poissonnier. Now Golub and Washer. Looks for the cross cage pass, no, instead back around. Claire, field blocked away. Loose ball controlled by Ella Prentice.
I mean, that looked like that was Gilbert, who had already positioned herself on the right post. So what that does is not only create the 3-on-2 on the opposite side, but as Poissonnier was there, she already had her hand up.
Good look, Kim to Prentice, and Prentice off the far post. It just stayed out, almost rolled in. Towards 4 minutes to go. Both teams have 3 timeouts left. In a tie game at 10 apiece. We said 10 wasn't going to win it. Could 11. Could the next goal win it? Golub inside. Ball under. Harvard defense shining. Get it back.
Against Brown's number 4, Sophie Golub. And on the change of possession, Harvard will go to the attack.
Well, there's one of the timeouts here.
That's right. Similar to what you talked about with chunking it into 2-minute quarters, it looks like you're looking at 2 4-minute quarters here. Again, as we get deeper into this game, the more that the score continues to be what it is, I imagine you'll see these 3 to 5 timeouts get used a lot more frequently. But again, both teams looking to try to grab that momentum. It seems like you've just been constantly trying to exchange goals, and no team really giving up here.
So as a coach yourself, the head coach on the men's side at MIT, at what point do you run your best play? Is it now in the fear that you may never get another chance to run it, or do you hold it for a later game situation?
Well, both teams are very well coached, so I imagine that they have a handful of different timeout looks and reads that they want to create here. So I assume that they're going to give one where it might be a little bit more of a 6-on-6 advantage, probably trying to create like a post-up opportunity, maybe create this power play or 6-on-5 opportunity for the next possession. But ultimately, as you get deeper into the game, that's pretty much when you're going to pull out all the creative stops and throw the kitchen sink at them. So again, with 4 minutes left, you don't necessarily want to go like 7-on-6 or anything like that, but you are going to try to create in some sort of movement or drive type option here. And then from there, as you get deeper into it, I imagine with the last minute or so, you probably will see the 7-on-6 and some of these other, I guess, more fun or more creative plays coming out of the playbook.
So it was a Harvard timeout, Harvard's second. They'll break out here. It's about 30 seconds on the timeout counter, but both teams are going to break now.
Yeah, and sometimes it works for the opposite team as well, right? So for the Brown Bears with the Crimson timeout, I assume they not only are talking about what they want to do on the defensive stand of things, but instead of using a timeout for the Bears coming into the next offensive possession, I assume that that's something that they addressed or that they've talked about currently. So it should be really fun to see how they want to create in transition, maybe make a little bit more contact, trying to create the power play for their end, and then obviously talking about what they want to do if they create those options.
Got whistles. Harvard can't even get started. And Alexis Kiekefer has to hustle back. Nice job by Harvard transitionally surrounding where that ball was just to give Kiekefer that extra second, but not what Harvard was looking for at all.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an interesting move there. You saw the Crimson
stopped by Kiekefer and secured.
So going back to that play, you saw the Crimson almost swarming that ball, waiting for one of the Brown Bears offensive players to touch the ball so they can get that quick steal, maybe get that ball right back. But unfortunately, the ball was technically considered in dead time. So the offensive player for the Bears had never really got the ball live or anything like that. So when the ball was touched, it was still in dead time. And unfortunately, from the defensive side of things, that's why that exclusion was called there.
Did allow the time for the goalkeeper to get back, so a good take of one in that sense, and Brown ultimately did not score. So tied at 10. Brown has it again. Suddenly, we speculated maybe the fourth quarter would be about defense, and both teams have scored one, and it is certainly possible that the next goal could win this game 11-10. Got a whistle. Timeout wants to be called by Brown. It's an exclusion coming. And an opportunity for the Bears to draw up perhaps their best 6-on-5 attack that they can muster.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much exactly what we would expect from the timeout called by Coach Mercado and staff. Again, you're getting into that dangerous territory with 3 minutes left. You're still tied, so now you kind of pull out maybe some, not a bread and butter play, but something that might be a little bit more creative, something where you can open up the post, really trying to create that 2-on-1 advantage. To once you find the 2-on-1 on a power play opportunity here, it's really easy is not the right word, but it's a little bit more advantageous to recognize who the open player is. So I assume that you'll see a big hard shift left or right. We've seen that throughout the weekend where the Bears were really trying to shift hard to the left, really trying to bring that deep wing player up a little bit higher and force that deep wing defender on the right-hand side of the pool, forcing them to make a decision whether they want to prioritize guarding that deep post on the right-hand side or the player that's moving up into the pocket. So I assume we'll see something very similar here where they can try to create that 2-on-1 advantage and then ultimately trying to finish it and get the goal on the board, for the Bears.
Both teams breaking out. Brown, the second team to break out of the timeout. The exclusion was whistled against Maya O.D. That's 2 on O.D. First Harvard player into foul trouble here.
So unfortunate that O.D.'s in foul trouble, but again, there's 3 minutes left in this game, so essentially 6 possessions left, more or less. So I know she's has enough experience in foul trouble to be able to learn how to play with this and move forward and stay in the game.
Catherine Knowles is out there for the Brown Bears. First time we've mentioned Knowles' name in this game. Did see her yesterday for a bit. So out there.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that hard shift. You can see them moving that deep wing player up, almost trying to open up Pausinier to the opposite post, but the Bears always, or excuse me, the Crimson always know where Pausinier is in the pool and recognize how much of a threat she is.
Nice shift there. The save made by Kafer on Sophie Golub. Tied at 10, 2:27 ticking down. Both teams with 2 timeouts. This skips out of the pool. Brown gets it back.
It's an unfortunate scenario for the Crimson here because it's not like they're playing bad. They just made some really unfortunate decisions or some really unfortunate breaks that have led to more Brown opportunities.
Just a common, ordinary foul there, getting back in transition defense. Brown looking to take the lead, 11-10. They go to center, Zapata defending. And an exclusion, Zapata is kicked out.
I mean, that was a good recognition from referee Stephanie Villalobos that Zapata had her right hand down and left hand up, and as Claire Pausinier went to make her move, that she was being impeded and ultimately resulting in the exclusion. Unfortunately, the Bears weren't able to capitalize.
Here we go. The shot was just high. No fingertips. It grazed the very, very top of the crossbar and went straight out. As time continues to tick down, if we get a winner in regulation, the 11th goal looking more and more likely that it could win it. This is Ella Schneider. Schneider gets it back now. Schneider looking, blocked. Maddie Pausinier has been playing with 2 fouls, it seems like, since this game started.
So as a coach, this is kind of where you're in this in-between position where, again, you're going to have at least 2 possessions left on the offensive side for the Bears. Do you call a timeout? Do you let them flow through it? It's really kind of that tricky balance of really trusting your team to know what they need to do and also trying to get them to settle in.
Shot is high from Maddie Pausinier. 1:11 to go. So we look towards the Harvard bench. Timeout.
That's exactly right. Again, both teams have 2 timeouts to give.
It's gonna be a full.
They're using their last full timeout. Could potentially be the last full possession that the Crimson see. So you really want to get one on the board. We knew that this game was going to be a battle all the way through, and I think we kind of talked about it in the first period. It did feel like whoever's the last team to hold possession of the ball is probably going to be the one that puts themselves in a position to be successful, and shortly after, here we are, Drew.
Well, you always ask in a championship scenario, various coaches and staff members, who do you go to with the big shot? Sometimes it's obvious. You look at the numbers and 2 or 3 overwhelming goal leaders. For Harvard, it's not that simple. There are a lot of options. Ted Minnis telling us, Maya O'D was the first name that came to mind. You remember from way back in February in what was her first career collegiate weekend, game winner against LaSalle as time expired, so ice in the veins there. Ruby Hodge, a great option. Erin Kim, of course, is a fantastic option. Katie Greenwald can score, also can draw an exclusion as well at center. And then you look at today, Emma Gilbert has 3. You've got plenty of options.
Yes, Heffelfinger, you have plenty of opportunities here. So, and that's ultimately what's going to make the Crimson so dangerous in terms of how they're going to create. Gives them a plethora of opportunities in terms of timeout plays or what you can run or who you want to isolate. So it should be really creative to see what Coach Minnis and staff do. And then again, using this last full timeout here, not only talking about what's in front of them, but I assume that only having a 30 left, they talked about, hey, if we get the ball with 7 to 15 seconds left, this is what we want to run. I'm going to call a timeout, maybe go 7-on-6 at the end and kind of see what they need to do to put their ducks in a row with the last minute and 7 seconds left.
It'll be Gilbert lining up at center. Greenwald not out there here. Kafer jump starts. Inside, approaching 2 meters. Turnaround stop. Prentice, maybe another chance. Furious fight. Exclusion. Harvard keeps it. The hands are on the head of Felix Mercado, the head coach for Brown, as he watches. Tied at 10. Slight bobble by Kibb, has it back. 10 seconds of advantage time, 20 to shoot.
You're seeing something similar that they ran with Heffelfinger earlier in the third period. They're bringing Emma Gilbert up to the middle. They're trying to spread out this Bears defense here with this 3-3 type setup.
It'll be Kim from distance, skips and scores. Harvard leads 11-10, 29 seconds to go.
Yeah, maybe we can get some free water polo out here this morning. little overtime action, but this is why both coaches held these full timeouts until now. They knew that this game is going to come to the wire here. So with 29 seconds left, the shot clock is off. So again, I don't expect, unless there's an extremely high percentage opportunity here, I don't expect the Bears to shoot unless there's anywhere from 2 to 4 seconds left. They don't want to give the Crimson any sort of opportunity to potentially create at least one more goal on the opposite end of the pool. They want to continue to use the clock to their advantage. It still is their friend, and I wouldn't be surprised here if you saw a 7-on-6 or something like that where you create that advantage for your team, and again, knowing that you have to use the clock here to your advantage and try to get the last goal of the game and see if you can force this one into overtime.
Leave a cap that was just taken off.
There it is. There's the switch.
Let's see if we can see which cap was thrown. It's a mess of bodies along the pool deck. But it does appear that will go 7-on-6.
Yeah, it looks like that was potentially Sierra Martin who's putting the goalie cap on. She's been a big threat for the Bears as well all season long. All her entire career has been a big impact player for them as well. So again, trying to put what you feel like is your culmination of your best 7 in the pool. A lot of offensive firepower here. And this is nothing new. I know that they've both programs, but I know speaking on behalf of the Bears, considering that they're on the offensive end of things, this is a situation that they've drawn up in practice, so they've created these different moments where they're 30 seconds left in the game, down by 1. This is where it's a must-win goal, and this is how we ultimately want to do it.
It is Martin who is wearing 1A, the goalie cap. So 7-on-6 for Brown. The net will be empty at this opposite end. Then here we go. Brown looking to tie this score at 11. Final seconds of the fourth quarter in the third place game here in 2024 could be the final seconds of the season for both teams. Anderson working with Golub. Net open on the other end. 10 seconds to play. Single digits remaining. Anderson chipping in, shoots and scores with 5 seconds to go. Aubrey Anderson and Brown level it up at 11.
I mean, that's pretty much textbook right there. Again, we talked about the patience, using the clock, making sure that you know you have to bury that ball. Just another first year stepping up in big moments here. So great job by Anderson of relishing in the pressure and the high percentage opportunity that she created for herself and the Brown Bears. And again, that's pretty much exactly what you want to do when you draw it up. Again, we see the same thing coming in on the other side. 7-on-6 opportunity that potentially is Ruby Hodge that's coming into the goalie cap here, I believe.
It looks like Hodge. Kim is out there. Odie is out there. Yeah, it's Hodge.
So, I mean, 5 seconds, you got to move this ball quickly into space and see if you can maybe get a quick redirect here from Prentice.
Here we go, and nothing is going to get off. Just not enough time to get something going off the restart. And we will have bonus water polo in this third place game in the CWPA 2024 Championships. Overtime will get going in just a few minutes. Let's get a thought, then we'll take a break, Austin. Just about what we expected. Defenses came up big, but late stages, Erin Kim and then Aubrey Anderson.
Yeah, again, both teams drawing up exactly what they needed to do to be successful. The Crimson creating that power play opportunity and Kim just being able to bury it. She's been a gamer even since before her time at the Crimson. And so, again, just rising to the challenge. And again, Aubrey Anderson stepping up in a time of need for her team. Again, doing a great job of staying patient. It looked like there could potentially be 2 to 3 different shooting opportunities that the Bears had before that shot from Anderson. And so, again, you saw the patience, recognizing that, hey, this is where we want to be, but we can't give the shot up too early. We don't need a goal swinging the other way and really kind of put this thing out of arm's reach. So extremely well-played water polo going into the final minute.
We have at least 6 more minutes to play. We will take a timeout. We'll come back for overtime on the other side here at Blodgett Pool in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Welcome to the community. We want to introduce ourselves to you.
We're a not-for-profit financial cooperative founded and operated by Harvard employees.
If you work or study at Harvard or any of the teaching hospitals, you and your family are eligible to join.
We've helped thousands in the community buy their first homes, pay off their student loans, and build strong credit.
Ask your friends and colleagues why the bank with HUEC.
And get to know us at huecu.org/hello.
I love when families are able to come here and I can tell them they don't have to worry about paying for their care. They've got enough to worry about taking care of their sick child. Every single person that contributes is a part of that St. Jude family that makes that happen. Because of donors, we're giving families hope.
Ticket Smarter is proud to support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. $1 of every transaction will go directly to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit ticketsmarter.com to learn how you can help today.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeart Radio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed at ticketsmarter.com.
Getting set for overtime here in the CWPA third place game. Brown and Harvard all tied up at 11. At minimum, we'll have 2 3-minute periods here. And if we're still tied, we'll go to sudden death after that. A minimum of 6 total minutes. And Austin, as we get set here, high energy, high emotions late in regulation, but it's not as if you can maybe use that because you have 6 minutes to play at least.
Yeah, no, again, you have to kind of settle back in, find the groove. I know that was a really exciting final 2 or 3 possessions for both programs here. So, again, going back to kind of how you started the game, continuing to be confident in what you're doing, attack and create the way that you're looking to create. And, again, especially in the first overtime period, you just want to continue to keep it close. You can't let either team go on a run here if you're on the defensive side of things. And I assume coming into that second overtime period, you're going to throw the kitchen sink at whatever team you're playing against.
Both teams do get 1 additional timeout, a full timeout. So Harvard gets 1 timeout. They were at 0, and Brown now has 2. 1 full 1 of the 30-second partials left in this one. Harvard has it first, dark caps, inside position, Facey turns but fires it just high.
I mean, Azuka's doing a good job of not necessarily leaving her line, but she's coming out a little bit outside of the goal, and what that's doing is that's cutting off the angle that Facey has to see the goal. So that's why Facey felt like going high was really her best option, and again, that's credit to Azuka.
We've got an exclusion, and it's Maya O'D. O'D is done. That's 3.
Great recognition by the Bears where she is on the defensive end of things. They know how much of a threat she is on the offensive side. So
can Brown capitalize on the 6-on-5? We've got whistles.
Yeah, that. Unfortunately, what ended up happening is the gal that was in the ejection box came in too early.
Yeah, well early.
So we saw there was still 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Each team gets a 20-second power play opportunity, and that could just come with a little bit of a heightened I guess, emotion coming into overtime. But yeah, unfortunately, going in a little bit early on the power play, on the power play opportunity results in a penalty shot.
It's against Constance, and it's a penalty shot. That is the administration of such. So a great opportunity for Brown, and Maddie Poissonnier will get set to deliver one.
Impressive Poissonnier is still in the water. We saw OD get 3 exclusions late into the game.
Maddie scores, and Brown leads again, 12-11 here in OT.
She knows that she's the most impactful for her team in the water, outside of potentially having 3 exclusions and having to watch from the sidelines. But great finish there, getting up big. Not necessarily looking off the shot, but she's coming up a little bit more neutral, where Kiekefer had no real idea what direction she was going to go in. And as a goalie, you're kind of at a disadvantage on these penalty shots. You just kind of have to pick a side and go for it.
Heffelfinger rifles that one off the near post. Facey gets the rebound and fires it just high. It's the first offensive possession where Harvard didn't have OD as an option. Of course, there have been some where OD's been on the bench earlier in the game. It'll be interesting to see how that takes shape with the CWPA Rookie of the Year having fouled out. Here's a steal, though. Constance maybe looking to right a wrong. Hung up, and an exclusion. Palmer.
She knows she's got to continue to do what she can to put her team in a position to tie this up. And
no look shot. Oh, that was beautiful. Ruby Hodge to tie it at 12.
All season long, Coach Minnis has recognized that if they can get that right side of the pool going with Hodge, Kim, Heffelfinger, they're a dangerous team to defend. So, again, you've seen her stepping up in this new leadership role this year and putting her team back to square.
Saw it on the replay there, looking off the defender, looking off everybody, and just getting it in there. Brother Noah Hodge and the Harvard faithful really like that one behind the net here. A dozen apiece, 12-12. 1:08 to go in our first overtime session. We will play 3 more minutes regardless of the score when this clock goes triple zeros in now 1:03. Both teams have scored 1. It was 11-11 after 4. Just waiting is Golub. 4 to shoot. Golub can shoot from this distance and stopped by Kiekefer.
I can understand the idea. I would say with 50 seconds left and 3 seconds left on the shot clock, shooting it high, maybe see if you can get a tip, retain possession, could be another good option in there.
At any point, are you looking at the clock and trying to get it to a point where Harvard only gets 1 more possession at all in the quarter, or no, that's too much time watching?
No, there's definitely a little bit of that, but that would probably be more into the second overtime period. So what ended up happening there is Maddie Poissonnier came back, got that crash, got that steal, but essentially as the referee called the turnover, Poissonnier showed the hold from Gilbert, and ultimately, unfortunately for the Crimson, Gilbert was excluded. So there was a quick 30-second timeout. Again, anticipating both teams wanting to save their fulls for this second overtime period, seeing how the game has shifted. But no, great 30-second timeout. You have the entire possession here. I'd imagine to see the same thing that we saw at the end of the fourth period, where you want to use the clock to your advantage and get the highest percentage opportunity possible.
Great look, great save. A second fantastic save by Kiekefer, who robs Poissonnier.
If there's any time to step up big for your program, now is the time. So that was a great shot there, great block there by Kiekefer.
Long distance wide. The net was occupied that whole time by Hazuka after the restart. And we will head to our second extra session. And essentially, it's not technically sudden death, but the next goal very well could win this game. 3 minutes up on the clock. And we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back and set the scene for the final 3 minutes before a possible sudden death opportunity. Right after this, here on ESPN+.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Harvard, an overtime winner. Wins this NCAA Women's Rugby Championship in the Big Green of Dartmouth. That will do it. The Brown Bears and the Lions walk off. And Cornell will play on Championship Monday.
Half. 1 and 2. 2 and 4. Half of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So let's retire inequality. Let's step forward together and let's rise together because dignity, security, retirement is for all.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Auburn, an overtime winner. Princeton into the round of 32. And Cornell will play on Championship Monday.
We are tied at 12 as we go to our second extra session of 3 minutes on the clock, and level again, Austin, and ourselves a great contest. 3 more minutes at least, maybe sudden death after that. As a coach, what are moments like this like?
Again, especially at the end of the year, like this is pretty much exactly what you could be asking for from your program, continuing to battle all the way through, pushing it all the way to the limit. So pretty much I assume both programs or both coaching staffs are really applauding the efforts of each respective teams. And again, we have the Crimson underneath us right now, and you can hear the senior leadership of goalie Kikafer saying, let's get a quick goal, let's get a couple big stops, let's come out strong, and let's try to put this thing away and right off into the sunset. So again, should be really exciting to watch. And again, with 3 minutes left, each team guaranteed at least a minimum of 3 possessions. Both coaches have their full timeouts. You're literally going to see the kitchen sink getting thrown at either team coming out in the last overtime period. So it should be another fun battle. But again, you have to kind of recognize and relish in this moment pretty much exactly what you play the sport for. High pressure, extremely fun scenario. So again, this is a really good time to remember why we started playing water polo and ultimately what the joy is about of playing competitive sports.
Aaron Kim will swim off here on the sprint for Harvard. And Cleo Washer for Brown. And you talk about the kitchen sink, it might be time to throw all the appliances out there.
That's right. That's
the
right.
Microwave, the dishwasher, everything.
You can't leave anything. You can't leave anything unused or unturned over at this point.
Even the air fryer, even though those are great.
We might need that one.
Save that one. That's for sudden death.
That's right. That's right.
So tied at 12. This is not sudden death, just to clarify. We'll play this full 2:43 and ticking, and then see where we are. A lot of traffic there for Hodge, who gets through some of it, and an offensive is called.
Yeah, it looked like the referee on the pro side, Easton Honecker, called it for a ball under potentially. Aubrey Anderson doing a good job of stepping over, recognizing the ball was just a little bit outside of reach for Hodge, and getting a big stop for the Bears.
First possession of this period for Brown. A wall of 3 comes, and Harvard has it.
Again, same thing. Both teams doing a good job of crashing, playing that help defense, making sure that they're flying all over the place, and again, not giving either program an opportunity to feel any comfortability in the offensive set.
Ella Palmer was swallowed up at center there. The no-look shot comes a little early from Ruby Hodge there. Saw a lane, but just missed it near side wide.
Sometimes when you think you got to pull it. But yeah, unfortunately now with 2 minutes left, gives the Bears another opportunity to get on the offensive front here. See him isolating Poissonnier here. Bears had a heck of a weekend for the Bears program.
All the way across for Palmer, slight bobble. Kim got over defending. Reared back a little bit, lots of space for Washer. Will fire the shot, field blocked by Gilbert. And maybe some numbers for Harvard. Greenwald for Hodge. Slight advantage, high side left with Constance. Gap closed, pass still comes. Sasha is there, keeper is out. Exclusion 1.
Yeah, so the difference there between the exclusion and the penalty is Constance was outside the post. She did make a slight move to create that advantage, but because the left arm of the defender was kind of draped around her back and she was outside of the box, that's why it was an exclusion, not a penalty shot.
Looking, lobbing, and it stayed out. The field blocking hands of Golub, I believe. It was not the keeper, Hazuka. Unless somehow she extended that right hand way out there. I don't think so, though. Stayed out. 50 seconds to go. No timeout coming here. Shot clock's at 10.
Yeah, I know Coach Mercado's doing the math here of if I don't call a timeout here, can we get another 10-second possession? Maybe run a 7-on-6. Keep it in the pocket.
Would love to score here. Shot clock's at 3. Might have to get it back. Tough angle, and it goes! Maddie Passanier, who shot it, might be the most surprised of anybody. It's 13-12 Brown.
That was an extremely difficult shot there from a right-handed shooter. Deep at that wing. Defender already at her, pressing, but she's been a big offensive weapon for the Bears, and again, showing why she's much more impactful in the water than potentially out on the bench.
Again, remember, Maddie's been playing with 2 since very early in this game.
I think the first period or so.
In the first quarter, very late, I do recall. It wasn't then, it was early second.
Yeah, and now with 37 seconds left, again, it's kind of a, because it's a must-score opportunity here, I would not be surprised if Coach Minnis went all in on potential 7-on-6 play regardless of the 7 seconds to go. You know that if the Bears retain possession, they're most likely going to hold the ball and run the clock out. So you're not necessarily as weary of potentially giving up a goal coming back on the opposite end for the 2-goal swing. It's really about, hey, we have to force this thing into sudden death. So I'm really curious to see what happens here with the Crimson, whether they try to go back to their bread and butter of isolating a center and maybe trying to draw an exclusion to finish out the second overtime period, or if they end up just bringing Kiekefer or somebody else into that front court opportunity and trying to find one of their many-headed monster on the offensive end in a position to put the ball away.
It does not appear Harvard is going to go 7-on-6 because Alexis Kiekefer does remain in the game with the goalie cap for Harvard. Has it here. Kiekefer surveying as Harvard breaks out. 23 seconds on the shot clock, about a 7-second differential. This is Ruby Hodge. Defensive crash comes Anderson. That's a common against Brown. Harvard keeps tough pass. Controlled, another ordinary whistle. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Getting it back. This is Constance, 10 to shoot. Now Erin Kim. Inside to center. Harvard going to work. Any call here? No, there's not. And that's going to just about do it. Ball is loose. Hazuka. Timeout, Brown.
Yeah, I mean, that was a must-call timeout there. Again, the Crimson were swarming Hazuka. She had to throw that ball kind of out in front of her to maintain that possession. And because the Bears had already retained possession before she had thrown that ball out and away, he had to call that timeout to really spread him out. But what that's doing is that's ultimately giving the Crimson an opportunity to set up, press all 7 people here, but I assume you're going to put your best ball handler with the ball, potentially Maddie Passanier with her length, being able to just get the ball live and run down the clock for the final 4 seconds. But I would not be surprised if anything were to happen here, seeing how the last 5 and some change quarters have gone.
10 minutes shown a yellow card during the timeout. Very, very upset with the no call there. And seeing it live, certainly a case. Would love to see it again later. Could be a pretty strong case. And now if you're Brown, you restart and try and maintain possession.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You almost don't want to start the ball at the goalie. Like, you'd rather start the ball maybe at half or something like that. Exactly. Like, you can see that there, because if Hazuka ended up starting with the ball and she got rushed, she might be able to just get that. Gilbert might have been able to just push that ball into the goal, but senior Colin stepping up for the team.
Final seconds tick off, and the Brown Bears defeat the Harvard Crimson in the third place game, 13-12. And Maddie Passanier with 2 goals in the extra period. There are the Bears celebrating with a season above 500 with the win here today.
I mean, you can see how important this game was for both programs, but again, Bears fired up to pull it out. It's extremely difficult to beat a team 3 times in any given scenario, regular season or championship run, but this is what it's all about. So credit to the Bears for finishing strong, and again, a really good effort in the pool by the Crimson, and unfortunately just didn't go their way.
So the season concludes for Brown at 17-16 overall. They will head into the offseason with a win. Harvard will end its season 13-14, and that's a hard loss to swallow, 13-12 in overtime. You better bet when the season schedule comes out and they see Brown for the first time, that's going to have a big circle around it.
That's exactly right.
When that comes in conference play. So the season concludes for both of these teams, and coming up next, oh boy, we've got a good one. The championship game, the 1 seed. It will be the Princeton Tigers against the 2 seed, the Michigan Wolverines. Princeton defeating Michigan twice this year, and Michigan will be without its head coach, who was shown a red card yesterday, but in capable hands from former gold medalist and assistant coach and acting head coach today, Sabby Hill. So that's what's coming up next, scheduled for 12 o'clock noon. Do stay with us here on ESPN Plus. We will have that for you for our entire team, led by Tara Kraus all weekend. With Austin Ringheim, I'm Drew Casey saying so long for now from Blodgett Pool, but we will see you again coming up in just a few minutes. Final score, Brown 13, Harvard 12 in the third place game. All games airing here on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.